The Mother Archetype. Hi, I'm Anne-Margaret with this week's Sacred Sunday message to raise the vibration of your body, mind, and spirit. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. I chose to do today's talk outdoors in this beautiful, beautiful day in Colorado. You can hear the birds around me saying hello and happy Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We're going to go into the Mother Archetype today for today's talk and just explore aspects of the archetype of the mother, whether you are a mother, whether you have a mother, which we all do, and how you also are a mother to your projects and things like that. So thanks so much for joining me. It's a little river in the background. Mother Nature is here in apparent. So let's dive in. So I think we're going to be joined by the birds the whole time, which is awesome. So let's dive in. So the light attribute, I brought the cards today. This mother archetype is so powerful, and all of us have a mother. We all have a biological mother, right? Whether we're related to her, emotionally and more in a personal way or not. And we all have an inner aspect of the mother archetype within us that we can nurture and help to really bring forth a reparenting of ourselves. And this is an absolute essential aspect to our stepping into full sovereignty, to our free will, to be able to be empowered by how it is that we are relating to our lives. And so even if you have a strained relationship with your biological mother or your adoptive mother or whomever it is, it's so critical that you at least begin repairing the relationship to your own inner mother. All right, so this mother archetype is beautiful. The light attributes of this archetype are nurturance, patience, unconditional love, and joy in giving birth to life. So that's Mother Nature. That's what we do with our projects. That's what we do with our free will. We give birth to life. We nurture ourselves. We nurture each other. Unconditional love, patience. Oh my gosh, that's a good one too, right? I know I always need to work on that. Patience is such an important aspect of this mother archetype. Let's look at the shadow aspects, okay? And then we're going to go through the three aspects of the mother and how we relate to them. So the shadow attributes here are smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. So this can be like over-identifying with this role of the mother, meaning taking yourself as a irreplaceable aspect of somebody else's life so that you create codependency with them. You don't nurture them to support their independence. I know there's a really great quote. I'll get into that in just a second. But here we go. Here it is. Barbara Kingsolver. She said, "But kids don't stay with you if you do it right. It's the one job where the better you are, the more surely you won't be needed in the long run," which is very counterintuitive to our egoic needs. Like, we really want to relate to people and have them interact with us in a way that we're needed. We want to be needed, and we all do have needs. So let's dive in a little bit here now. So let me see. So first of all, let's look at the children aspect to this mother archetype. And hi, happy Mother's Day. Got some passerbys here. So let's look at the children first, the biological or even the adopted child, okay? There are pain points that we have as children in relationship to our mothers. So sometimes the most common example that I hear from my clients or in relationship to just what I know personally about my own life too, like mothers, you can feel like they're nagging you, they're criticizing you, and I heard one beautiful piece of advice one time, which was, whenever your mom tells you something, when you're walking out the door, whether it's take your raincoat or whatever it is, hear it as "I love you." And I thought, well, that's interesting, because even if it's something that's really harsh that they're saying to you, we have the capability, anybody in our lives, to interpret what filter we're listening through so that we can sculpt the way that it hits us, that it penetrates us. And if we're listening to something or somebody else, like they're nagging us or criticizing us, that's what we're going to hear. We're not going to hear why they're invested in even engaging with us, and I'm not saying that you succumb to dysfunctional and uh, it's a little chilly, right? Dysfunctional and parasitic behavior. But what I'm saying is we have so much impact on how things actually come into us, and what people say and what they do to us. So can we, in that moment, rather than hearing, oh gosh, here she's going on about my life again, or how I need to find a man, or whatever it is, or somebody in your life who's like a mother to you, hear it instead as, I love you. I love you. What if you heard it like that? It would soften you back into your heart, so that you might be with her in a different way. And this might be a male as well, right? Men have this mother archetype within them as well. All right. There's also a pain point of adoption, abandonment through letting go of a child. And I know I know that I have a lot of close people who are adopted to me. And this is an aspect that we all face, of abandonment, of going from interconnected oneness with our mothers to separateness. We all go through that, every single human. But for adoptees, they go through this so intensely with the rejection right from the very beginning. So if you fall into that category or know somebody, just know, like, that is almost like at the core of their belief system, and all of the roots of all of the synapses of their brain is initial rejection, which is really tough. So being patient, supporting their self-worth, loving them, making sure that they know, or loving yourself if you fall into that category yourself, okay? But we all go through some sort of abandonment, because we go from that interconnected oneness to separateness, and we have to be both, right? As human beings, we're both interconnected to one another into that oneness, but then we also have that separate experience of being human in our five sensory self, where we have free will, where we get to create, etc. So let's go a little bit deeper too, like also as children. And there's three beautiful, the child wounded, the child eternal, and the child orphan archetypes that all play into blaming others for our issues, not stepping up and taking accountability, right? Fifth chakra, big time, right? Or the inability to really grow up and be responsible for our lives, and letting that abandonment, or letting any traumas that happen as children impact us, so that we feel like we can't grow up, or we can't be happy, or we can't create lives that we love. So all of those things are within us to mother ourselves, so that we can step into more of a life where we feel empowered, we feel free, and we feel sovereign. All right, so let's go a little bit deeper. So the immature response from a child to a parent or a mother is to do everything opposite. So it's like whatever your mom did, okay? When you have kids, or when you're moving through your own life, sometimes the most immature response is, well, I'm just going to do everything the opposite of that mother in my life, or that person in my life, because I got hurt so deeply, or it was so messed up, or whatever the judgment call is. But can you see that that's a really immature approach, because you're going from one extreme to the other. So you're disregarding generational wisdom. You're disregarding all of the things that she does that are right, all the things that she's done in your life that have actually enriched you, that you might not even be receiving, to open to receiving those gifts, okay? We might be just seeing through that filter of everything that they do is wrong and they're horrible people, and then we don't get to receive the gift of the beauty of that person, regardless of who they are, all right? They might be a teacher for us, and sometimes teaching comes through pain, comes through disappointment, comes through our own pain body of things being triggered that we need to heal within ourselves. So another response is more of an unconscious response. It's like repeating the mistakes that your mom made. So you're avoiding, you're in denial, you're not looking at what was done that you could improve upon. You're just repeating that same thing. Okay, so that's the second response. And the third response is more of an aware response. So it's learning from the mistakes. It's standing on the shoulders. And this requires deep work, deep processing, deep forgiveness, and really faith in the gifts and miracles and the blessings of your life, and appreciating and accepting life exactly how it's showing up, because then you can take the ingredients you're being given and make something of it, really alchemize it and create it as the sovereign being that you are. So remember, life's happening for you, not to you. We don't want to be stuck in that victim mentality. So there's really an opportunity here when we have pain for growth, for insight, for opportunities to go back deeper into our heart, to have more compassion, deeper love for ourselves and others. And being an adult and your own mother, reparenting yourself, because your parents are human, right? They could only do so much with what they had. They're standing on their parents' shoulders and they're offering you something. So there's always an opportunity there. So let's now take a look at if you're a mother, right? Or biological, adoptive mother, or whatever it is. There are aspects of rejection when it comes to kids, right? There are aspects of your kids being cruel to you or doing things to hurt themselves, and it's like those kids are like your heart walking around on legs outside your body. I've heard this all the time from mothers, that it's like it's so painful, or the loss of a child, maybe a loss of an emotional connection, or a loss of physical child. Maybe you've lost a child to death, right? Or maybe if you've lost a child in pregnancy, that's so painful as well. So all of these aspects are very challenging for the mothers out there. And we can have a reaction coming from an egoic response to any of these loss or rejection or cruelty from the kids, which is that we're threatened by the differences in them. We're threatened. So our egoic response is like, well, I want them to be this way, all right? But there is a soul response, which is a steadiness. It's a steadiness of the bow that the arrow gets shot from forward. And there's no more beautiful poem than the passage on children from the prophet by Khalil Gibran. So I want to share that with you real quick on Mother's Day, because it's such a beautiful passage. And it says, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And although they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows. Here's the metaphor. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite. Isn't this beautiful? And he bends you with his might, that you might have that ability to shoot that arrow forward. So this aspect, oh, my computer just went dead. There you go. This happens, right? This, that we need to be steady bows for the futures of tomorrow, for these kids, so that we can provide them with the most support with moving forward in their lives. So be steady. If you're a mother, do what you can, but know that that child has their own sovereignty, has their own free will, and they will move forward in whatever way that they choose to. You can only influence them so much. And the rest really is up to God, to the universe, to them, in their own path. So trust is such a huge aspect. Easier said than done. I know, right? Easier said than done. So, but let's look at the last little piece here. Every single one of you is mothered some sort of project, some sort of, maybe you're a mother to something you are dreaming up. Entrepreneurs out there, you guys are all mothers, right? You guys are all mothers, male or female. You have that mother archetype of nurturing, of loving, of being patient with whatever that is, and waiting for that to evolve and move into manifestation. All right, so that aspect too of mothering is huge. That's huge. So if you're in that camp of mothering a project, celebrate that today too, guys. Celebrate that, because just because you might not have given birth to kids, or might not be an adoptive mother, or even a female, we all have that aspect of that mother archetype. All right. So lastly, guys, take some time today to look at what aspects you need for your own parenting, for your own mother. How can you nurture yourself more today? How can you look at Mother Earth and take some lessons? I mean, we have abundance, absolute abundance, nurturing, warmth, food, water from this incredible planet, and just celebrating that mother archetype today. So I put some oils in the notes of different oils that are great to connect with the nurturing aspect, right? With myrrh. Myrrh is a really wonderful oil brought to the Christ child right upon birth for a reason. Frankincense, the oil of the father, myrrh, the oil of the mother. And then there's also a couple more in there, like Douglas fir. There's some other good ones in there for you to check out. Petitgrain, honoring the ancestry wisdom, right? Ancestral wisdom, so that we aren't just starting from scratch. We're learning from the mistakes, using our free will to step into our sovereignty as full human beings, so that we can truly create in this life, and with the support of that mother archetype. All right, loving wishes to all of you. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and until next time, keep raising the vibration.